I should have left an hour ago. That was the thought circling my mind as I stood outside the velvet room, staring at my phone's black screen. Dead. Completely dead. I pressed the power button again, uselessly, like it might suddenly resurrect itself through sheer willpower. The November air bit through my thin jacket. My breath came out in small clouds, and I hugged myself tighter, looking down the street for a taxi that never seemed to come in this part of the city. Not at midnight. Not in this neighborhood. I'd only come here because my coworker Emma had begged me. "Just one drink, Lily. You never go out." And she was right, I didn't. I worked at the university library, lived in a modest apartment with a cat named Pepper, and my idea of excitement was a new book release. But Emma had ditched me an hour in, leaving with some guy whose name I'd already forgotten. Now I stood alone on a street I didn't know, with no phone, no cash for the one payphone I'd spotted 2 blocks back, and a growing sense that I'd made a terrible mistake. The bar's door opened behind me, releasing a wave of warmth and noise. I glanced back instinctively. That's when I saw him. He stood in the doorway, tall and unnervingly still. Dark suit, darker eyes. His presence seemed to draw shadows toward him, like light bent differently in his vicinity. He wasn't looking at me, not yet, but I felt the weight of his existence anyway. 2 men flanked him, both built like they broke things professionally. I turned away quickly, my heart suddenly loud in my ears. "Miss." The voice was low, controlled, expensive somehow. I pretended not to hear, taking a step toward the curb, scanning desperately for headlights. "Miss with the dead phone." I froze. Slowly, I turned. He stood 3 feet away now, and I hadn't heard him move. Up close, he was even more unsettling, sharp jaw, dark hair pushed back, and eyes that seemed to see through pretense entirely. "I'm fine," I said, and hated how small my voice sounded. "You've been standing here 20 minutes. It wasn't a question. He'd been watching. "No, taxi's coming." "I'll walk." "You won't." The certainty in those 2 words made my spine straighten. "Excuse me?" Something flickered in his expression, amusement, maybe, or interest. He reached into his jacket, and I tensed. But what he pulled out was a phone. Sleek, black, expensive. He held it out to me. I stared at it like it might bite. "Your phone's dead," he said calmly. "Use mine. Call someone." "I don't know you." "No," he agreed. "But you need a phone, and I have one. Simple transaction." I looked at the device, then at him. Nothing about this man was simple. Everything from his posture to the way his men stood watch screamed danger. "Why?" I whispered. His head tilted slightly. "Why what? Why help me?" For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then, "Because you're about to make a stupid decision. Walking alone at midnight in this neighborhood, that's how people disappear." The bluntness of it struck me cold. He stepped closer, and I could smell his cologne now, something dark and cedar-like. He pressed the phone into my hand. His fingers were warm, and the brief contact sent an inexplicable jolt through me. "Call someone," he repeated, "and when you get home safely, call this number." He tapped the screen. A contact labeled simply D appeared. "Let me know you made it." "I don't understand." "You don't need to." One of his men appeared beside a black car at the curb, a car I somehow hadn't noticed before. The rear door opened. "We'll take you home," the stranger said. "No." The word came out sharp, instinctive. "I'm not getting in a car with strange men." That almost smile again. "Smart girl." He gestured to the phone. "Then call someone, but do it now. I won't leave you here alone." There was command in his voice, but also something else. Something that felt almost like concern. My fingers trembled as I unlocked the phone, no password, which seemed odd, and dialed my roommate, Sarah. It rang 4 times before her sleepy voice answered. "Hello?" "Sarah, it's Lily. My phone died. I'm outside a bar called the Velvet Room. Can you—" "I'll get an Uber to you right now. 10 minutes. Relief flooded through me. "Thank you." I hung up and tried to hand the phone back. He didn't take it. "Keep it until you're home. Then call me." I'm not asking." His voice dropped lower. "You're going to go home, lock your door, and let me know you're safe. Understood?" I should have argued. Should have been offended by his presumption. Instead, I found myself nodding. Good girl. Those 2 words shouldn't have affected me. They did. He turned toward his car, then paused. What's your name? Lily, I said before I could think better of it. He looked back, and for the first time, I saw something shift in his expression, something hungry and restrained all at once. Lily, he repeated, like he was tasting it. Then he opened his car door. Stay visible. Stay under the light. Don't move until your ride comes. Wait, what's your name? He was already halfway into the car. You already have it. The door closed, and the vehicle pulled away, silent and predatory. I looked down at the phone in my hand, at the single contact labeled D. 10 minutes later, Sarah's Uber pulled up. I climbed in, still clutching the stranger's phone, and watched the velvet room disappear behind us. At home, I stood in my small kitchen, staring at the expensive device on the counter. Pepper wound around my ankles, purring. I should delete the contact and leave the phone at a police station tomorrow. Instead, I picked it up and pressed D. It rang once. You're home. His voice was quieter now, almost intimate. Yes. Doors locked? Yes. Good. A pause. Sleep well, Lily. He hung up. I stood there for a long time, holding a stranger's phone, my heart beating irregularly. I didn't know his name. Didn't know why he'd helped me. Didn't know why his voice made me feel safe and terrified simultaneously. I only knew that something had shifted tonight. That the world I knew small, safe, predictable had cracked open. And standing in that crack was a man who looked at me like he could see every hidden part of me. I set the phone down and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about his eyes, about the way he'd said my name, about the fact that tomorrow I'd have to return his phone, and that part of me, a part I didn't recognize, was already counting the hours until I saw him again. The phone sat on my desk at work like a small black bomb. I'd brought it with me, unable to leave it at home, unable to explain why. All morning, I'd caught myself glancing at it between shelving returns and helping students find research materials. It hadn't rung. No texts. Nothing. But I felt its presence anyway. You okay? Marcus, my colleague, leaned against the reference desk. You've been weird all morning. I'm fine. You reorganized the same shelf 3 times. I forced a smile. Just distracted. He nodded knowingly. Guy trouble? No, nothing like that. But even as I said it, I knew it was a lie. At lunch, I sat in the small staff room and finally opened the phone's contacts. Only one entry, D. No call history beyond my own call last night. No texts, no emails, no photos. It was like the phone existed solely for me to reach him. Who carries a phone with no personal information? I pulled out the business card I'd found tucked in the phone case this morning. Thick cardstock, black, with only a name and address printed in silver. Dominic Lavelle, The Velvet Room, private inquiries only. I'd Googled the name immediately. Nothing useful. A few business registrations, mentions in society pages at charity galas, but no real information. No social media, no interviews. It was like he existed in the spaces between public record. Lily? I jumped, nearly dropping the phone. My supervisor, Ruth, stood in the doorway. Sorry, just wanted to let you know you can head out early if you want. Slow day. Thanks. She left, and I sat there staring at the address on the card. I should mail the phone back. Leave it at the bar. Anything but what I was considering. 20 minutes later, I stood outside the velvet room. In daylight, it looked different. Still expensive, black facade, gold lettering, heavy doors but less menacing, almost elegant. I pushed through the entrance. Inside was all dark wood and leather, empty except for a woman behind the bar polishing glasses. She looked up, assessed me in one cool glance. We're closed. I know. I need to return something. I held up the phone. Her expression shifted immediately. Wait here. She disappeared through a back door. I stood awkwardly in the empty space, suddenly aware of how out of place I was. My thrift store cardigan and worn jeans felt especially shabby against all this polished darkness. The back door opened. He emerged like he'd been waiting. Same dark suit, though different from last night. Same controlled movements, but in better light, I could see more the slight scar above his left eyebrow. The way his watch probably cost more than my car. the absolute certainty in his posture. Lily. My name again. Why did it sound different when he said it? I came to return your phone. I held it out. He didn't take it. Instead, he moved closer, studying me with that unnerving intensity. You didn't have to come in person. It seemed expensive. I didn't want to just leave it. Thoughtful. He finally took the phone, his fingers brushing mine again. That same electric jolt. Did you sleep? The personal question caught me off guard. Liar. I bristled. Excuse me? You have shadows under your eyes. You keep touching your necklace, nervous habit. And you came here during your lunch break instead of mailing it because you wanted to see me again. Heat flooded my face. That's not. It's okay. His voice dropped lower. I wanted to see you too. The admission hung between us, dangerous and honest. I don't even know you, I whispered. No, he agreed. But you want to. It wasn't arrogance, just observation. And it was terrifying because it was true. Have you eaten? He asked suddenly. What? Lunch. Have you eaten? No. He gestured toward the back. Then eat with me. I should get back to work. You were given the afternoon off. I know because I saw you check your watch 3 times, calculating how much time you have. This man noticed everything. Why? I asked. Why do you care if I eat? Why give me your phone last night? Why any of this? Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Then, because when I saw you outside cold and alone, something in me decided you weren't going to stay that way. You don't make decisions for me. Not usually. He tilted his head. But you bring out my protective instincts. We're strangers. For now. The certainty in those words made my breath catch. Against every instinct that told me to run, I found myself nodding. His almost smile appeared. Come. He led me through the back door into a private room I hadn't expected an office, but comfortable. Leather couch, heavy desk, walls lined with books. A table was already set with lunch. You knew I'd come, I realized. I hoped. We sat. He served food simple but elegant, from some restaurant I'd never afford, and for a few minutes, we ate in silence. Then he asked, What do you do, Lily? I work at the university library. Cataloging, mostly. You like it? I love books. I love order. It's safe. Safe, he repeated, something dark crossing his expression. And what happened last night that scared you? Yes. Good. It should have. He set down his fork. This city isn't safe. Especially not for women alone at midnight in my neighborhood. Your neighborhood? I own most of the buildings within 6 blocks. Including the Velvet Room. I processed that. You're rich. I'm careful. There was a difference, apparently. What do you do? I asked. I solve problems. That's not an answer. His gaze held mine. I know. A chill ran through me. This man had layers of secrets, and I was only seeing the surface. Should I be afraid of you? The question escaped before I could stop it. Dominic leaned forward slightly. Yes. Honesty. Brutal and clear. But not today, he continued. Today, you're just having lunch with someone who wanted to make sure you're okay. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, you'll decide if you want to see me again. What if I don't? Something flickered in his eyes, disappointment maybe. Then I'll respect that, but I'll also make sure you stay safe from a distance. That's stalking. That's protection. There's a difference. I should have left then. Should have recognized every red flag. Instead, I asked, why me? He was quiet for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, because when you looked at me last night, you weren't trying to figure out what I could give you. You were trying to figure out if you could trust me. No one's looked at me like that in a very long time. My heart hammered against my ribs. We finished lunch. He walked me to the door, and this time, I felt his hand at the small of my back, barely there, but present. At the entrance, he stopped. My number's in your phone now, he said. If you need anything, if you're scared, if you just want to talk, call me. I don't. You do. He reached up, and for one breathless moment I thought he might touch my face. He didn't. Go back to your safe library, Lily. Back to your books in order. But know that if you ever want something different, something real, I'm here. Then he opened the door, and I stepped back into daylight. I walked 3 blocks before I realized I was smiling, and that I was definitely going to call him again. I lasted 4 days. 4 days of pretending I wasn't thinking about him, of cataloging books and going through my routine and telling myself that lunch had been a one-time thing. A strange blip in my ordinary life. But on the 4th night, as I lay in bed unable to sleep, I picked up my phone. His number was there, saved simply as Dominic. I stared at it for 20 minutes before typing, "Are you awake?" The response came in seconds. Always. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. Just couldn't sleep." "Bad dreams?" "No dreams. Just thoughts." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "About?" I could lie. Should lie. "You." The dots stopped. My heart raced. I'd been too honest, too. My phone rang. I answered before I could overthink it. "Hello?" "Tell me." His voice was rougher than I remembered, intimate in the darkness. "Tell you what? What you're thinking about me." I pulled my blanket tighter, suddenly aware I was in an old t-shirt, alone in my room, talking to a man who felt dangerous even through the phone. "I don't know you," I whispered, "but I can't stop thinking about you, and that scares me." "Good." "Why is that good?" "Because I haven't stopped thinking about you either. And I don't scare easily." Silence stretched between us, charged and heavy. "Dominic." "Yes? What do you really do?" He was quiet for so long I thought he'd hung up. Then, "I manage interests." That's still not an answer. "I know." A pause. "Are you working tomorrow?" "Morning shift. I'm off at 3. "Have dinner with me." It wasn't a question, but it wasn't quite a command either. Somewhere between, "Where?" "My place. I'll cook." "That's too intimate," he finished. "I know, but restaurants have ears, and I'd rather talk somewhere private. Should that make me feel safer or more afraid?" "Both." Brutal honesty again. "But I give you my word you'll be safe with me. Always." I closed my eyes. Every rational part of me screamed to say no. "Okay, I'll send a car at 3:30. "I can." "You could," he agreed, "but you won't." "Let me do this, Lily." The way he said my name. God. "Okay," I repeated. "Sleep now." "You don't give orders to me." "Don't I?" There was amusement in his voice now. "Good night, Lily." He hung up before I could respond. I lay in darkness, heart racing, wondering what I'd just agreed to. The next afternoon, a black car arrived exactly at 3:30. The driver was one of the men from that first night. Tall, broad, silent. He opened the door without speaking. I climbed in, clutching my bag. We drove through the city as afternoon light turned golden. I watched familiar streets give way to unfamiliar ones, then to a neighborhood where the buildings grew larger, more spaced out. Old money. Real money. The car pulled through iron gates and up a curved driveway. The house, no. Mansion that appeared made my breath catch. Stone and glass, modern but classic, surrounded by manicured grounds. It looked like something from a film. "This is where he lives?" I whispered. The driver's eyes met mine in the rearview mirror. "Mr. Lavelle doesn't do anything halfway." The door opened. Dominic stood at the entrance, dressed more casually than I'd seen him. Dark jeans, white shirt rolled to his elbows. Somehow, he looked even more dangerous this way. "Lily." He extended his hand. I took it, letting him help me from the car. His hand was warm, solid. "Welcome." Inside was equally stunning, high ceilings, art I recognized from textbooks, furniture that looked antique and priceless, but it didn't feel cold. Somehow, it felt lived in. "Your home is beautiful," I managed. "Thank you." He led me through rooms that seemed to go on forever, finally arriving at a kitchen that was all marble and steel. "Wine?" "Please." He poured 2 glasses of red, handed me one. Our fingers brushed. "You're nervous," he observed. "I'm in a mansion with a man I barely know, who has drivers and guards and won't tell me what he really does." "Yes, I'm nervous." That almost smile. "At least you're honest about it." "Would lying help?" "No, I'd know." He started cooking actual cooking, not reheating takeout. His movements were efficient, practiced. I watched, sipping wine, trying to reconcile this domestic scene with the intensity I'd felt from him before. "You're staring," he said without looking up. "You're cooking." "I am." "I didn't expect that." "What did you expect? That I'd have servants do everything?" "Maybe." He glanced at me. "I learned to cook young. It's one of the few things I do purely for myself." There was something vulnerable in that admission, a crack in his controlled facade. "What else do you do for yourself?" I asked quietly. He set down the knife he'd been using and turned to face me fully. "Until recently?" "Nothing." "And recently?" "Recently, I've been trying to figure out why a librarian in a worn cardigan has gotten under my skin." Heat flooded through me. "I'm not special." "You are." He moved closer. "You're kind, genuine. You look at the world like it might still surprise you with something good. Do you know how rare that is? I'm ordinary. You're extraordinary. You just don't see it yet." He was close now, close enough that I could see gold flecks in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the heat radiating from him. "Dominic, tell me to step back and I will." I should absolutely tell him to step back. I didn't. His hand came up slowly, giving me time to move away. When I didn't, he brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. The touch was feather-light, but I felt it everywhere. "You're trembling," he murmured. "I'm scared." "Of me? Of how you make me feel." His eyes darkened. "And how do I make you feel?" "Like I'm standing at the edge of something dangerous. Like one more step and I'll fall." "You will," he agreed. His thumb traced along my jaw. "But I'll catch you." "You can't promise that." "I can. And I do." The kitchen timer beeped, shattering the moment. He stepped back smoothly, returning to the stove like nothing had happened. But my heart was racing, and my skin still tingled where he'd touched me. We ate at a small table overlooking the grounds. The food was perfect pasta with herbs I couldn't name, bread that melted on my tongue, flavors that spoke of care and skill. "This is amazing," I said. "My grandmother's recipe. She insisted I learn." "Is she?" "Gone. 10 years now." His expression flickered with something like pain. "She was the last person who saw me as just Dominic, not what I became." "And what did you become?" He met my eyes. "Someone who makes difficult decisions so others don't have to. Someone who carries weight so the people he protects can stay light." It was the most honest answer he'd given me yet. "That sounds lonely," I whispered. "It is." "Then why do it?" "Because someone has to. And I'm very good at it." We finished dinner. He showed me the library, an actual library, walls of books that made my professional heart sing. I ran my fingers along the spines, awed. "You can borrow anything you want," he said from the doorway. "Really? I think you'd appreciate them more than I do lately." I pulled out a first edition I recognized, cradled it carefully. "This is valuable. It's just a book. It's a piece of history." He watched me with that intensity again. "You really love them." "Books saved me," I admitted. When life felt too big or too scary, I could disappear into a story, become someone else for a while. "And now?" I looked at him. "Now I'm not sure I want to disappear anymore." Something shifted in the air between us. Something inevitable. The drive home was quiet. He insisted on coming with me, sitting beside me in the back seat. At my apartment building, he walked me to my door. "Thank you for dinner," I said. "Thank you for coming." I unlocked my door, hesitated. "Dominic?" "Yes?" "I'm still scared." "I know." He leaned against the doorframe. "But you came anyway. That's brave. Or stupid." "No, brave." His eyes held mine. "Sleep well, Lily." He turned to leave. "Wait." He looked back. "When will I see you again?" That almost smile became a real one. "Sooner than you think." The flowers arrived at my work the next morning. White roses, dozens of them, arranged in a crystal vase that probably cost more than my rent. The card was simple. "Thank you for yesterday, D." "Holy shit," Emma breathed, appearing beside my desk. "Who's the secret admirer?" "Just someone I met. Someone rich, clearly." She touched one of the petals. "Lily, these are like $200 roses. They're just flowers." "They're a statement." She grinned. "Tell me everything." But I couldn't. Didn't know how to explain Dominic. the pull I felt toward him, the way he made me feel seen and terrified simultaneously. My phone buzzed. "Do you like them?" I typed back. "They're beautiful. Too much." "Nothing's too much for you." My cheeks heated. "Dinner again tonight?" I should say no. Create distance. Be reasonable. Yes, but dinner didn't happen. At 2 o'clock, Marcus rushed into the back room where I was processing new acquisitions. His face was pale. "Lily, there are men here asking for you." My stomach dropped. What kind of men? The kind that make me nervous. I followed him to the main floor. 3 men in suits stood by the entrance, and everything about them screamed danger. Not Dominic's controlled danger, something cruder, meaner. The tallest one smiled when he saw me. It didn't reach his eyes. "Lily Chen?" "Yes. We need you to come with us." "I'm working." "Not anymore." He moved closer, and I saw Marcus step back involuntarily. "Our employer wants to meet you." "Who's your employer?" "Someone interested in your associations." My heart hammered. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Dominic Lavelle. You've been seeing him." "How did they know?" "We'd been careful. Private." "I don't lie. Makes this harder." His hand moved to his jacket, and I saw the edge of something dark underneath. "A weapon. Come quietly, or we make a scene. Your choice." Terror locked my throat. Around us, students were starting to notice. Marcus had gone pale. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay, I'll come." "Smart girl." He gripped my arm not gently and steered me toward the exit. We'd just reached the doors when they burst open. Dominic stood there, flanked by 2 of his men. He took in the scene in one glance, my terrified face, the man gripping my arm, the threat implicit in every line of their bodies. His expression went absolutely cold. "Let her go." His voice was quiet, lethal. The man holding me laughed. "Lavelle, we were just... let her go." Something in Dominic's tone made the man's grip loosen. I stumbled forward, and instantly Dominic was there, pulling me behind him, placing his body between me and them. "You made a mistake coming here," Dominic said softly. "Just following orders. Russo wants to meet your new pet." "She's not my pet." "And Russo can go to hell." The tension ratcheted impossibly higher. I could feel violence simmering beneath the surface. "This is a library," I managed. "There are students." "She's right." Dominic didn't take his eyes off the men. "You're going to leave. Now. And you're going to tell Russo that if he ever approaches her again, I'll consider it an act of war." Big talk. Not talk, promise. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then the tall man shrugged. "Your funeral, Lavelle." They left, and the second the doors closed, Dominic turned to me. His hands framed my face, and I saw real fear in his eyes. "Are you hurt?" "No, Did they touch you?" "Just my arm." He pulled me against him, and I felt the rapid beat of his heart. He was terrified. This controlled, dangerous man was terrified for me. "We're leaving," he said. "Now. I can't just..." "You can, and you will." He looked at Marcus. "She's done for the day. Call her supervisor." To my shock, Marcus just nodded. Dominic kept me close as we walked to his car. Once inside, he made a call. "Carlo. Full security on her building. I want eyes on every entrance, every exit. No one gets close. I don't care what it costs. Do it now." He hung up and finally looked at me. "I'm sorry." The apology surprised me. "For what?" "For this. For bringing danger to your door. I don't understand what's happening." "I know." He ran a hand through his hair the first time I'd seen him less than composed. "And I should have been more careful. Should have known Russo would notice." "Who's Russo?" "Someone I have business conflicts with." "What kind of business?" He met my eyes. "The kind you don't want to know about. Try me." Dominic was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I manage territories. Resolve disputes. Handle problems that the law can't or won't touch. Some people call it organized crime. I call it maintaining order in chaos." The truth hit me like cold water. "You're in the Mafia." That's an oversimplification, but essentially, yes. I should have been horrified. Should have demanded he let me out of the car. Instead, I asked, "And those men? Rival family. They want what I control. Using you to get to me is a predictable move. So I'm leverage." "No." His voice turned fierce. "You're someone I care about who's now in danger because of me. There's a difference. I barely know you. Doesn't change the fact that I'll burn the entire city down before I let anyone hurt you." The intensity in his voice made my breath catch. "This is crazy," I whispered. "It is. I should run. Should disappear and never see you again." "You should." He reached over, took my hand. "But you won't." "Why not?" "Because despite the fear, despite the danger, you feel it too. This thing between us, this pull." He was right. God help me, he was right. "What do I do?" I asked. "You let me protect you. You stay smart, stay alert, and you trust that I won't let anything happen to you." "For how long?" "Until this is resolved." "And how does it get resolved?" His expression went dark. "You let me worry about that." We drove to my apartment. Dominic insisted on coming up, checking every room, every window. I watched him move through my small space, this dangerous man among my books and secondhand furniture, and the contrast was almost absurd. "You'll have security outside," he said. "Round the clock. They won't bother you, but they'll keep you safe. I can't live like this." "You won't have to." "Not forever." He turned to face me. "But right now, until I handle Russo, this is how it has to be. And what if I refuse? Then I'll do it anyway, from a distance. But I'd rather have your cooperation." "Control freak," I muttered. "When it comes to your safety?" "Absolutely." He moved closer, and I saw exhaustion in his eyes now. The fear had taken its toll on him too. "I really am sorry," he said quietly. "You deserve normal. Safe. Someone who doesn't bring this kind of darkness. Maybe I don't want normal anymore." His eyes searched mine. "Lily, I'm scared," I admitted. "Terrified, actually. But I'm not running." "You should." "Probably." I stepped closer. "But I'm not." For a moment, we just stood there, inches apart. Then Dominic raised his hand, cupped my cheek with a gentleness that contradicted everything else about him. "You're either very brave or very foolish," he murmured. "Maybe both. Definitely both." His thumb traced my cheekbone. "I need to go handle this, but I'll be back, and I'll call you tonight." "Promise?" "Promise." He left, but not before triple-checking my locks and making me promise to call him if anything felt wrong. Through my window, I watched him drive away. Watched the black SUV that parked across the street take up position. My life had changed in a week. Changed completely. I should be terrified. Should be calling the police or packing a bag. Instead, I picked up my phone and texted him. "Be safe." His response came immediately. "Always. That's a promise now to you." I curled up on my couch, Pepper purring beside me, and tried to process everything. The Mafia, rival families, protection details, and at the center of it all, a man who looked at me like I was precious, like I was worth the war he was clearly preparing to wage. God help me, I believed him. The next 3 days were surreal. I went to work with guards shadowing me, came home to find Dominic had arranged grocery deliveries, had somehow paid my rent for the next 3 months despite my protests, had left books on my doorstep that I'd mentioned wanting. He called every night, and we talked for hours. About everything and nothing. I learned he liked jazz, hated crowds, read history books to fall asleep. He learned I was afraid of heights, loved thunderstorms, had wanted to be a writer before settling for cataloging other people's stories. "Why didn't you?" he asked one night. "Become a writer." "Fear," I admitted. "Fear that I wasn't good enough, that my stories didn't matter." "They matter. You don't know that." "I know you. So yes, I do." The certainty in his voice made my heart ache, but I hadn't seen him in person. He was handling things, which I'd learned meant preparing for whatever confrontation was coming with Russo. On the 4th night, he called earlier than usual. "Come to my house tomorrow," he said. "Stay the weekend. Dominic, please. I want you somewhere I know you're completely safe. And he paused. "I miss you." Those 3 words undid me. "Okay." The car picked me up Friday evening. Same driver, same silence, but this time I wasn't nervous. I was eager. Dominic met me at the door. He looked tired, shadows under his eyes, tension in his shoulders, but when he saw me, something eased in his expression. "Hi," I said softly. "Hi." He took my bag, then pulled me into an embrace that felt like coming home. I pressed my face against his chest, felt his heartbeat, and let myself relax for the first time in days. "I'm so glad you're here," he murmured into my hair. "Me too." He'd prepared dinner again, something simple and perfect. We ate on the terrace as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose. "It's beautiful here," I said. "It's lonely usually." He reached across the table, took my hand. Less so now. After dinner, he showed me the guest room perfectly appointed, overlooking the gardens. "You'll be comfortable here," he said. "Where's your room?" "Down the hall." "But Lily," he stepped closer, "I want you to know that nothing happens here that you don't want. You're safe with me in every way." "I know. Do you?" I met his eyes. Yes. Something flickered in his gaze, desire, restrained but present. Good. We spent the evening in his library. He read in an armchair while I curled up on the couch with a book, and it felt so natural, so right, that it almost scared me. At some point, I must have dozed off, because I woke to him carrying me. "I can walk," I murmured. "I know." But he didn't put me down until we reached the guest room. He set me gently on the bed. "Sleep, sweetheart." The endearment made my heart flutter. "Stay," I whispered. He went still. "Lily, just to talk, please. I don't want to be alone." For a moment, I thought he'd refuse. Then he moved around to the other side of the bed, lay down on top of the covers while I stayed beneath them. "Tell me something true," I said into the darkness. "Like what?" "Something you don't tell anyone else." He was quiet for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, "I'm tired of being what everyone needs me to be, of carrying everything alone. Sometimes I just want to be soft." The vulnerability in his voice cracked something open in me. I reached out, found his hand. "You can be soft with me." His fingers tightened around mine. "You make me want impossible things." "Like what?" "Normal. Peaceful. A life where I don't have to constantly watch for threats. Where I can just be with you." "Is that impossible?" "In my world, yes." "Then maybe we need a different world." He turned his head on the pillow, and I could just make out his eyes in the darkness. "You'd give up your safety for that?" "I'd risk it." "That's not the same thing." "Close enough." He pulled my hand to his lips, kissed my knuckles gently. "You're going to wreck me, aren't you? Maybe you need wrecking." His quiet laugh was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. We fell asleep like that, hands clasped, fully clothed, completely innocent. But when I woke in the morning, he was wrapped around me, his body warm and solid against my back, his breath soft in my hair. I didn't move, didn't want to break the moment. "You're awake," he murmured. "How did you know?" "Your breathing changed." His arm tightened around my waist. "Is this okay?" "Yes." We lay there as morning light filtered through the curtains, and I felt something shift between us, something deepening. "Dominic, what happens when this is over, when Russo's handled? We figure out what this is, what we are, and if we don't fit in each other's worlds, then we make a new one." I turned in his arms to face him. His hair was mussed, his eyes soft, and he looked younger somehow, less burdened. "You really mean that?" I whispered. Every word. His hand came up to cup my face, and this time when he touched me, there was something different in it, not just restraint, but barely controlled want. "I need to tell you something," he said quietly. "What?" "I'm very close to doing something I promised myself I'd wait for." My heart raced. "What's that?" "Kissing you." The confession hung between us, charged and dangerous. "What's stopping you?" I whispered. "The knowledge that once I start, I won't want to stop. And you deserve slow. You deserve careful." "What if I don't want careful?" His eyes darkened. "Don't say things like that." "Why?" "Because my control where you're concerned is already hanging by a thread." I felt bold suddenly, bold and reckless. "Then maybe you should let go." "Lily, I closed the distance. The kiss was soft at first, tentative. His lips were warm, gentle, questioning. Then I pressed closer, and something in him broke. His hand slid into my hair, angling my head as the kiss deepened. It was everything I'd imagined, and nothing I'd prepared for consuming, intense, full of barely restrained hunger. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against mine. "You're going to be the death of me," he whispered. "Good." He laughed, the sound rough and genuine. Then he kissed me again, slower this time, sweeter. We stayed in bed for another hour, just kissing, touching carefully, learning each other. He kept it controlled, kept boundaries I hadn't even thought to set, but I felt his restraint in every careful touch. Finally, he pulled back. "We should get up. Before I forget how to be a gentleman." "What if I don't want a gentleman?" "Too bad." He kissed my forehead. "You've got one anyway." We spent the day together walking the grounds, cooking lunch, existing in each other's space. It felt like playing house, like trying on a life that might never be possible. That evening, as we sat on the terrace watching the stars emerge, his phone rang. He glanced at it, and his expression hardened. "I need to take this." "Okay." He walked to the far end of the terrace. I couldn't hear words, but I could see the tension enter his body, see the softness I'd uncovered disappear beneath his armor again. When he returned, the man I'd woken up with was gone. The Mafia boss had returned. "What is it?" I asked. "Russo wants a meeting. Tomorrow night." "Is that good?" "It's necessary." He pulled me against him. "I'm going to end this, Lily. End it so you can be safe. So we can figure out what happens next. Promise me you'll be careful." "I promise." He tilted my chin up. "And I promise I'll come back to you." "You better." He kissed me then, deep and desperate, like he was trying to memorize the taste of me. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a voice whispered that this might be the calm before a terrible storm. Sunday morning arrived too quickly. I woke alone, the bed cold where Dominic had been. When I found him, he was in his office, surrounded by papers and maps, phone pressed to his ear, speaking in Italian. He looked up when I entered, and something in his expression told me the man from yesterday was locked away again. He finished his call. "You should eat breakfast. Carlo will drive you home this afternoon. I can stay." "No." The word was sharp, final, then softer. "I need to prepare for tonight, and I need to know you're somewhere secure." "Your house is secure." "Not when I'm about to go to war." The bluntness of it struck me cold. He stood, crossed to me, pulled me into his arms. "I'm sorry. I don't want you to go, but I need you safe more than I need you close right now." "What's going to happen tonight?" "I'm going to make it very clear that you're off limits, that touching you means declaring war on my family." "Your family?" "Not by blood, by oath." He pulled back enough to look at me. "There are alliances, Lily, lines drawn, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows you're on my side of that line. And if Russo doesn't agree?" His expression went cold. "Then I'll make him agree." I understood what he wasn't saying. Violence. Maybe death. "This is because of me," I whispered. "No. This is because of men who think they can take what isn't theirs. You're just the catalyst. I don't want you to get hurt." "I won't." He kissed my forehead. "But I need you to do something for me." "What?" "If anything happens, if you hear something bad, if my men tell you I'm not coming back, I need you to promise you'll let Carlo protect you, that you'll trust him to get you somewhere safe." "Dominic." "Promise me, Lily." The fear in his eyes made my chest tight. "I promise." "Good girl." Carlo drove me home in silence. When we arrived, he walked me up, checked my apartment. "I'll be outside," he said. "Anything happens, you call Mr. Lavelle immediately." "Will he answer during the meeting?" Carlo's expression was unreadable. "For you, always." I spent the afternoon pacing, called my mom, had a surface-level conversation where I pretended everything was normal. Fed Pepper. Tried to read and gave up after rereading the same page 6 times. At 6, my phone rang. "It's starting soon," Dominic said. His voice was calm, controlled. "I wanted to hear your voice first." "I'm scared." "I know, but I need you to be brave a little longer." "When will I hear from you?" Midnight, maybe later, but I will call you, Lily. I promise. Okay. One more thing. What? If this goes wrong, if something happens to me, don't, I interrupted. Don't say that. Listen. His voice was firm. If something happens, Carlo has instructions. Money, protection, everything you'll need. You'll be taken care of. I don't want money. I want you. I know, sweetheart. I want that too. A pause. I have to go. Dominic. Yes? Come back to me. Always. The line went dead. I tried to distract myself. TV, more failed reading attempts, cleaning an already clean kitchen. At 10, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You should know what he really is. My stomach dropped. Another text. He's killed people, destroyed families. You're with a monster. Then photos started coming through. Dominic in what looked like security footage leaving buildings, getting into cars, surrounded by armed men. Nothing definitively incriminating, but the message was clear. A final text. Leave him, or you'll be destroyed too. This is your only warning. I blocked the number with shaking hands, but the photos stayed in my mind. He'd never pretended to be innocent, had told me outright what he was, but seeing evidence of the violence his life contained made it real in a way words hadn't. My phone rang. Emma. Hey, are you okay? You've been MIA all week. I'm fine, just busy. With the flower guy? I hesitated. Yeah. Lily, I need to tell you something. Someone came to my apartment asking about you. My blood ran cold. Who? I don't know. Said he was an old friend, but something felt off. He was asking about who you're seeing, where you spend time. Her voice lowered. Should I be worried? No, just don't tell anyone anything about me, okay? What's going on? I can't explain. But please, Emma, don't talk to anyone about me. You're scaring me. I'm okay. I promise. Just trust me on this. We hung up, and I immediately called Dominic. It went to voicemail. I called Carlo. Miss Chen? Someone approached my friend asking about me. Someone who felt wrong. I heard him relaying information to someone. We're handling it. Stay inside. Lock your doors. Is Dominic okay? The meeting's still ongoing. That's all I know. The hours crawled past. 11, 11:30. Midnight came and went. No call. At 1 a.m., I was vibrating with fear. I called Carlo again. I haven't heard from him either, he admitted. But that doesn't mean something's wrong. These things take time. He said midnight. I know. At 2 a.m., there was a knock at my door. My heart stopped. Carlo had said to stay inside, not to open the door for anyone. Lily, Dominic's voice, rough and tired. It's me. I yanked the door open. He stood there, suit jacket gone, shirt partially untucked, looking exhausted but whole. Alive. I launched myself at him. He caught me, stumbled back slightly, then held on tight as I shook against him. I'm okay, he murmured. I'm okay, sweetheart. You didn't call. You said midnight, and you didn't call. I know. I'm sorry. Things ran long, and I needed to come straight here. Needed to see you. I pulled back enough to look at him. What happened? Let's go inside. In my small apartment, he looked even more out of place than usual, this dangerous man among my peaceful things. But when he sank onto my couch and pulled me down beside him, it felt right. Rousseau agreed to terms, he said. You're off limits. Protected under my name. He won't touch you or anyone close to you. Just like that? Not just like that. I had to make concessions. Give up territory I wanted. But you're worth more than land. Dominic, I made it clear you're mine to protect. His eyes met mine. That if anyone tries to use you against me, they'll face consequences they can't imagine. It's done, Lily. You're safe. Relief, and something else, something darker flooded through me. Someone sent me messages tonight. Photos of you. Said I should leave you. His jaw tightened. Let me see. I showed him my phone. He studied the photos. His expression going cold. Rousseau's people. Testing your loyalty. Trying to scare you away. He looked at me. Did it work? Should it have? Probably. Well, it didn't. He pulled me against him. kissed the top of my head. You should be running, should be smart enough to leave. Guess I'm not that smart. His arms tightened around me. Or maybe you're smarter than both of us. Maybe you see something worth staying for. I do. We sat in silence, just holding each other. Eventually, he said, I should go. Let you sleep. Stay. Lily, please, I don't want to be alone tonight. He hesitated, then nodded. Okay. We moved to my bedroom. I changed in the bathroom, came out in soft pajamas. He'd removed his shoes and shirt, stood there in just his dress pants, and I saw scars I'd only imagined before proof of violence survived. I crossed to him, placed my hand over his heart. You came back to me. Always will. We climbed into bed, and he pulled me against him. His warmth surrounded me, his heartbeat steady beneath my ear. Dominic? I'm falling for you. He went still. Then, I already fell. I tilted my head up, found his eyes in the darkness. What do we do now? I whispered. Now? He brushed hair from my face. Now we figure out how to make this work. How to build something real in the middle of all this darkness. Is that possible? With you, I think anything's possible. He kissed me then, slow and deep, and I let myself believe him. Let myself believe that maybe, just maybe, we could have this. I woke to sunlight streaming through my curtains, and Dominic's arm around my waist. For a moment, I lay still, savoring the warmth, the safety, the simple miracle of his presence. You're thinking too loud, he murmured against my neck. How can you possibly know I'm thinking? Your body tenses. His lips brushed my shoulder. What's going on in that beautiful head? Just this. Us. Whether it's real. He turned me to face him. In morning light, his eyes were softer, more open. It's real. The realest thing I've had in a very long time. You barely know me. I know you're kind, brave, that you see good in the world despite reasons not to, that you make me want to be better than I am. His thumb traced my cheekbone. I know that when I'm with you, everything else gets quieter, and that scares the hell out of me. Why? Because caring about someone is a weakness in my world, a liability, and you care about me. I do. Simple, honest, devastating. More than I should. I kissed him then, cutting off whatever careful words might follow. He made a sound low in his throat and rolled us, pressing me gently into the mattress. The kiss deepened, became something hungrier. His weight on me felt perfect, safe despite the danger it represented. When his hand slid under my pajama top, skimming bare skin, I gasped. He pulled back immediately. Too much? No, just unexpected. His eyes searched mine. We don't have to. I know. I touched his face. But I want to. I want you. Lily, I'm scared, I admitted. But I trust you. And I want this. Want you. Something shifted in his expression, heat and restraint warring. If we do this, we do it slow. We do it right. And the second you want to stop, I'll tell you. He kissed me again, softer now, like sealing a promise. Then his hands began exploring, careful, reverent, like I was something precious. He undressed me slowly, pausing between each piece of clothing to check my eyes, to make sure I was still with him. I should have been self-conscious. But the way he looked at me like I was beautiful, like I was worth worshipping, made embarrassment impossible. When I was bare beneath him, he paused. You're perfect, he whispered. I'm not. To me, you are. His mouth traced paths across my skin, collarbone, the curve of my breast, my ribs. Each touch was gentle, patient, building something warm and insistent in my core. When I reached for his belt, my hands shaking, he covered them with his own. You're sure? Yes. He stood long enough to remove the rest of his clothing, and I saw all of him, the scars, the strength, the evidence of a life lived dangerously. He was beautiful in a way that felt almost unfair. He returned to me, settled between my legs, his weight supported on his forearms. Look at me, he said softly. I met his eyes. If it hurts, if you want to stop, if anything feels wrong, you tell me. Understood? Yes. He kissed me as he entered me, slow, careful, giving me time to adjust. There was pressure, a brief, sharp sting, then fullness. I gasped against his mouth. He stilled completely. Okay? Okay, I breathed. Don't stop. He moved then, slow and careful, watching my face the entire time. The discomfort faded, replaced by something else. Pleasure building in waves. Connection so intense it almost hurt. Dominic, I've got you, he murmured. I've got you, sweetheart. His hand slid between us, found the bundle of nerves that made me arch against him. The sensation built impossibly, higher and higher, until something inside me shattered. I cried out, shaking, and he followed moments later, my name on his lips like a prayer. Afterward, he held me close, both of us breathing hard. Are you okay? He asked eventually. Better than okay. He pulled back enough to see my face. No regrets? None. I touched his cheek. You? Being with you? Never. He kissed me softly. But making you a target by caring about me, that I'll always regret. That's my choice to make. I know. Doesn't make it easier. We lay tangled together as morning stretched into afternoon. Eventually, he insisted on making breakfast eggs and toast in my tiny kitchen. Both of us wearing minimal clothing, comfortable in a way that felt domestic and surreal. I have to go tonight, he said over coffee. Handle some business. But I'll have someone stay near your building. I'm safe now, though. You said Russo agreed. I did. But there are always complications. Always people who don't follow rules. His eyes were serious. Until I know for certain that everyone's gotten the message. You stay protected. For how long? As long as it takes. A week passed in a strange new rhythm. Dominic came to my apartment most nights, usually late. We'd talk, make love, fall asleep tangled together. He never stayed past dawn, had business, meetings, things he wouldn't detail. I went to work with guards shadowing me. Slowly, I adjusted to the new normal. Emma noticed the change. You're glowing, she said one afternoon. Must be some guy. He's intense. Good intense or scary intense? Both. She laughed. Just be careful, okay? You've got that look. What look? Like you're in deep. Like you'd follow him anywhere. She wasn't wrong. That night, Dominic took me to dinner at a small Italian restaurant the first time we'd gone out publicly. I felt eyes on us, attention that made me nervous. They're staring, I whispered. They always do. You'll get used to it. Will I? He reached across the table, took my hand. I hope so. Because I'm planning on taking you many more places. Like where? Paris, Tokyo, anywhere you want. His thumb traced circles on my palm. I want to show you the world, Lily. All the beautiful things I've stopped noticing. That sounds like a dream. It could be real. After dinner, he drove us to a lookout point over the city. The light spread below like fallen stars. I haven't been here since I was a kid, I said. Your parents brought you? My dad, before he left. I'd never told him that part. He disappeared when I was 12. Just walked out one day and never came back. Dominic's hand found mine. I'm sorry. It's why I like stability, routine. Books that always end the same way when you reread them. And I'm the opposite of stable. You are. I looked at him. But you keep coming back. Every night, you come back. I'll always come back to you. You can't promise that. Your life is dangerous. Then I'll just have to be very good at not dying. He pulled me against him. Because I'm not leaving you, Lily. Not by choice. Not ever. I kissed him there, under stars and city lights, and let myself believe impossible things. 2 weeks after that first night together, everything shattered. I was at work, shelving books in the history section, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello, Lily Chen? A woman's voice, cool and professional. Yes? My name is Agent Sarah Martinez, FBI. I need to speak with you about Dominic Lavelle. My blood ran cold. I don't know what. Miss Chen, we know you've been seeing him. We know he's been providing you protection. And we need your cooperation. My cooperation? With what? We're building a case against the Lavelle organization. Your testimony could be invaluable. I don't know anything. You know more than you think. And more importantly, you have access. You could help us take down a very dangerous man. He's not... I stopped. What was I defending? His violence? His crimes? Miss Chen, Dominic Lavelle is responsible for murders, extortion, trafficking. He's not who you think he is. I know what he is. Then help us stop him. Help us protect other people from becoming victims. I'm not a victim. Not yet. But his world has a way of destroying innocent people. Is that really what you want for your life? She gave me a number, told me to think about it, hung up. I stood in the stacks, shaking, mind racing. The FBI. They wanted me to betray Dominic, to help put him in prison. Could I? Should I? I thought about the man who held me gently, who cooked me breakfast, who looked at me like I was precious. Then I thought about the violence I knew existed, the people he'd hurt, the darkness at the center of his world. That night, when he came to my apartment, I couldn't look at him. "What's wrong?" he asked immediately. "Nothing. Lily." He tilted my chin up. "Don't lie to me. The FBI contacted me today." Every muscle in his body went rigid. "What did they say?" "They want me to help build a case against you. Want me to gather information." "And what did you tell them?" I finally met his eyes. "Nothing. But Dominic, they said you've killed people, that you're dangerous." "I am dangerous. I've never pretended otherwise." "Have you killed people?" He held my gaze. "Yes." The honesty was brutal. Final. "I see." My voice felt distant. "Look at me." His hands framed my face. "I've done terrible things. Things I can't take back. Things I'd do again to protect what's mine. But I have never lied to you about what I am." "I know. So what now? You decide I'm a monster? Walk away? Help them put me in a cage?" "I don't know," I whispered. Pain flickered in his eyes. "Okay." He stepped back, and the distance felt impossible. "I won't blame you," he said quietly. "Whatever you decide. If you help them, if you leave, if you never want to see me again, I understand. You deserve better than this life. Don't. Don't what? Don't make this easy for me. Don't be noble. Be angry. Fight for this. You think I'm not fighting?" His voice roughened. "Every day, I fight against my world consuming you, against my enemies using you, against myself for being selfish enough to keep you near. But if the FBI has you, if they've gotten in your head, that's a fight I can't win. What do you want me to do?" He looked at me for a long moment. "I want you to decide what you can live with, not what's right or wrong, but what you can carry. And then I want you to be honest with me. And if I choose to help them, then I'll make sure you're protected. And I'll disappear from your life. Just like that?" "Just like that." He moved to the door. "Think about it, Lily. Really think. I'll respect whatever you decide." He left, and I sank onto my couch, shaking. The FBI, Dominic, my normal life, his dangerous one, a choice that felt impossible, and a heart that already knew which direction it would break. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I lay in the dark, Agent Martinez's words circling my mind like vultures. Murders, extortion, trafficking, but also Dominic's hands, gentle on my skin. His voice, soft in the darkness. The way he looked at me like I was something worth protecting. At dawn, I made a decision. I called the number Martinez had given me. "Miss Chen? I'll meet with you. But I need something in return." "What's that?" "Immunity. For anything I might have been peripherally involved in. And protection if I need it." "Done. Can you come to our office today?" "Yes." I texted Carlo. "Need to run errands. Taking the day off from security." His response was immediate. "Mr. Lavelle won't approve. Tell him it's personal. I need space." A long pause then. "Understood." The FBI office was gray and institutional. Agent Martinez met me in a conference room with another agent, a man named Torres, who looked at me with barely concealed disdain. "Thank you for coming," Martinez said. "Before we start, I need to be clear about something. I don't know anything useful. I've never been to any meetings, seen any crimes, witnessed anything illegal. But you have access to Lavelle's home, his phone, his trust. And you want me to spy on him. We want you to help us protect other innocent people from his organization. By betraying someone who's protected me, Torres leaned forward. He's a criminal, Miss Chen. Whatever you think you feel for him, he's dangerous. He's hurt people, killed people, destroyed families. I know what he is. Then why are you hesitating? Because I love him. The thought hit me with brutal clarity. I love him. I need time to think, I said. We don't have time. We have a narrow window. I said I need time. I stood. You want my cooperation? Then give me space to figure out what that means. I walked out before they could respond. I went to the library, seeking comfort in familiar spaces. But even surrounded by books, I felt untethered. Around noon, my phone rang. Dominic. I answered without thinking. Hello? Where are you? His voice was sharp with concern. Work. No, you're not. I called the library. You took the day off. Of course he'd checked. I needed space. From security or from me? Both. Neither. I don't know. A pause. Did you meet with the FBI? My silence was answer enough. Lily. I didn't tell them anything. Yet. Dominic, where are you? I'm coming to get you. No. I need... Screaming. Someone was screaming. I looked up to see people running past the library windows. Then I heard gunshots, close and sharp. Lily. What's happening? I don't know, The library window exploded inward. People screamed. I dropped to the floor, phone clattering away as glass rained down around me. More gunshots. Closer now. I crawled behind the circulation desk, heart hammering. Through the chaos, I heard a voice calm, controlled, giving orders. Find her. Lavelle's girl. She's here somewhere. Terror locked my throat. They were here for me. Someone grabbed my arm. I screamed, but it was Marcus, his face white with fear. Back exit. Come on. We ran through the staff area, other employees huddling in corners. Behind us, I heard men shouting, searching. Marcus pushed me toward the rear door. Go, run, come with me. I'll slow them down. Just go. I burst out into the alley, and immediately someone stepped in front of me. Not Dominic's men. Someone else. Someone with cold eyes and a gun. There you are. I turned to run. He grabbed my hair, yanked me back. Pain exploded across my skull. Boss wants to meet you. Have a little chat about your boyfriend. He dragged me toward a van. I fought, screaming, kicking, but he was too strong. The van door opened, and then he was falling, blood blooming on his chest. Carlo appeared from nowhere, gun raised. Get down. More gunshots. Carlo returned fire, advancing like a soldier. 2 more men fell. Then Dominic was there, materializing like he'd stepped through a shadow. His expression was absolutely murderous. Get her to the car, he barked at Carlo. Sir, now. Carlo pulled me toward a black SUV. I looked back to see Dominic advancing on the remaining attacker, and the cold calculation in his eyes was terrifying. Don't look, Carlo said. Just get in. A final gunshot. Then Dominic was running toward us, sliding into the back seat beside me as Carlo peeled away. Are you hurt? Dominic's hands were on me, checking for injuries. Did they touch you? I'm okay. He pulled me against him, and I felt him shaking. Dominic, who was never shaken, was trembling. They almost got you, he breathed. They almost... Who were they? Russo's people. He broke the agreement. His voice went deadly quiet. And now there's going to be a war. He took me to a place I'd never seen, a fortified building downtown, all steel and stone. Inside was like a military compound. You'll stay here until this is handled, he said. Dominic, no arguments. These men, they tried to take you in broad daylight, Lily. They shot up a public library. Russo has declared war, and you're the target. Because of me. No. He gripped my shoulders. Because of him. Because he's a coward who thinks hurting you will hurt me. He's right about that, but it won't save him. What are you going to do? His eyes were black with fury. What I should have done weeks ago. End him. That means killing. Yes. Dominic, don't. His voice was sharp. Don't ask me to show mercy. Not for this. He sent men to take you. To hurt you. That's a line no one crosses. And if you die trying, Then I die protecting you. Better that than living knowing I let someone hurt you. He kissed me hard, desperately, then pulled away. I have to go. Plan this. But Carlo and 6 others will be here. You're safe. When will you be back? When it's done. He left, and I was alone in a fortress built for war. Hours passed. I sat in a sparse room, jumping at every sound. Carlo brought food I couldn't eat. Updates that told me nothing. At midnight, I heard movement outside, doors opening, urgent voices. Then Dominic appeared in the doorway, and my heart stopped. He was covered in blood. Oh my God. Not mine, he said quickly. Most of it's not mine. Most. I crossed to him, started checking for injuries. Found a gash on his shoulder, another on his ribs. You need a doctor. I've had worse. He caught my hands. It's done. Russo won't be bothering anyone anymore. You killed him. Yes. The bluntness of it should have horrified me. Instead, I felt only relief. Guilt at the relief, but relief nonetheless. And now? Now his organization will fracture. His lieutenants will try to take over or run. Either way, they'll be too busy to come after you. So I'm safe. You're safe. I helped him clean up, tending his wounds with hands that shook. He watched me the entire time, something raw in his expression. You should have let them take me, I whispered. Should have let me go. Then none of this would have happened. Don't. His hand cupped my face. Don't ever say that. You're the only good thing in my life, Lily. The only light in all this darkness. I'd burn the entire world before I let anyone take you from me. Even if it destroys you? Even then. I kissed him, tasting blood and desperation and love. When we broke apart, I said, I'm not helping the FBI. He went still. Lily, I don't care what you've done. Don't care about your past. I care about you, about us, and I won't betray that. You're choosing my world over your conscience. I'm choosing you over everything else. Something broke in his expression. He pulled me against him, buried his face in my hair. You shouldn't. You should run and never look back. Too late for that. I know. His arms tightened. God help us both. I know. We stayed like that for a long time. 2 people who'd chosen each other over reason, holding on in the aftermath of violence. And I knew, with absolute certainty, that I'd made my choice, for better or worse, in darkness and light. I was his, and he was mine. Consequences be damned. Agent Martinez called 3 days later. You've been avoiding us, she said without preamble. I've been busy. We know about the shooting at the library, about Russo, about what Lavelle did. I don't know what you're talking about. Miss Chen, we can protect you, but only if you cooperate. I don't need your protection. You're making a mistake. That's my right. I hung up. Dominic, who'd been sitting across from me in his library, looked up from his book. We'd been staying at his house since the attack me on temporary leave from work. Him handling the fallout from Russo's death. They're not going to stop, he said quietly. I know. They'll pressure you. Maybe threaten charges for obstruction. Let them. He set down his book, crossed to where I sat. You're giving up a lot for me. I know that too. Lily, I don't want to talk about it. I made my choice. It's done. But it wasn't done. Not really. The next week, I returned to work. The library had been repaired, but the memory of violence hung in the air. People looked at me differently, whispered when I walked past. Emma confronted me in the break room. What the hell, Lily? The FBI came to my apartment. Said you're involved with organized crime. It's complicated. Complicated? People were shot. At our workplace. I know, and I'm so sorry. Sorry? You brought this here. You put all of us in danger. That's not fair. Isn't it? You're dating some criminal. And now we're all targets. Do you even care? Her words hit like physical blows. I care, I whispered. I care so much. But I also care about him. And I don't know how to choose between. Then you've already chosen. And it wasn't us. She walked out. I stood alone in the break room, her words echoing. Was she right? Had I been selfish? Put innocent people at risk because I couldn't let Dominic go? That night, I sat with him on his terrace, watching sunset paint the sky. Emma hates me now, I said. Because of me. Because of the danger. The violence. They're the same thing, Lily. I am the danger. I am the violence. You're more than that. To you, maybe. But to everyone else, I'm exactly what they think I am. I turned to look at him. Do you regret it? Us. He was quiet for a long moment. I regret what it's cost you. Your job, your friendships, your peace. But do I regret loving you? No, not even a little. You love me? Yes. Simple, honest. I've been in love with you since that first night. Since you looked at me like you were trying to figure out if you could trust me. Tears pricked my eyes. I love you too. Even though I probably shouldn't. Definitely shouldn't. He pulled me against him. But here we are. Here we are. 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. Official. FBI letterhead. Miss Chen, your refusal to cooperate with our investigation has been noted. While we cannot compel testimony, we want to make clear that association with known criminals can have legal consequences. We strongly advise you to reconsider your position. Additionally, we must inform you that we have opened a case file on you. Any future involvement in illegal activities, even peripherally, will result in prosecution. This is your final warning. I showed Dominic that evening. They're trying to scare you, he said. It's working. What do you want to do? I don't know. Keep going? Run away? Pretend this is all normal? He pulled me into his lap, held me close. What if we actually did run away? What? Not forever, but for a while. Go somewhere they can't touch us. Somewhere we can just be. You can't just leave. Your business can be managed by my lieutenants. I trust them. His eyes were serious. I'm tired, Lily. Tired of fighting, of constantly looking over my shoulder. And I don't want that to be your life either. Where would we go? Anywhere you want. Europe, Asia, South America. Pick a place. You're serious. Completely. I have resources, legitimate businesses. We could have a real life, not forever hiding, but enough time to figure out what we really want. The idea was intoxicating. Escape. Peace. Just the two of us. What about the FBI? Let them watch an empty house. By the time they realize we're gone, we'll be untouchable. And your enemies will think I'm weak. Let them. I've spent years being strong for everyone else. Maybe it's time to be selfish. I looked at this man who'd torn apart his world to protect me, who'd killed for me, who was now offering to walk away from everything he'd built. Okay, I whispered. Let's run away. It took 2 weeks to arrange. Quietly, carefully, Dominic transferred control of his operations. Money moved through channels I didn't understand to accounts I couldn't track. Our destination was kept secret even from his most trusted men. I quit my job with a vague excuse about family, packed up my apartment, put everything in storage, said goodbye to a life that already felt like it belonged to someone else. The night before we left, Dominic took me back to the lookout where we'd talked about Paris and Tokyo. Last chance, he said. You can still stay. Go back to your normal life. I'll disappear, and the FBI will have no reason to bother you. Is that what you want? I want you safe and happy. If that means without me. I kissed him, cutting off the words. I'm safest with you. And happy? I'm happiest when you're near. So no, I'm not staying. Even knowing what it means? The running, the hiding, the uncertainty? Even knowing all of it. He pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, a single diamond. I can't promise you normal, he said. Can't promise safety or stability or any of the things you deserve. But I can promise that I will love you every day for the rest of my life. That I will protect you with everything I have. That you will never doubt how much you mean to me. Tears streamed down my face. Dominic, will you marry me, Lily? Not because you have to. Not because I'm asking you to choose my world. But because you want to build a new world with me. One that's just ours. Yes. I didn't hesitate. Yes. Absolutely yes. He slid the ring onto my finger, kissed me like I was air and he was drowning. We leave tomorrow, he said against my lips. Leave all of this behind and start over. Where are we going? It's a surprise, but I promise you'll love it. The next morning, we left at dawn. One car, Just us and Carlo driving. No security detail, no fanfare. Just 3 people heading to the airport. At the private terminal, Dominic's jet waited. Where? I asked one more time. Greece, he said. Small island, quiet. I have a house there, bought it years ago as a safe house. No one knows about it except Carlo. Greece, I repeated, testing the word. You said you'd never traveled, wanted to see the world. He took my hand. Let's start there. We boarded the plane. As we lifted off, I watched the city disappear below us, all the violence, the fear, the impossible choices, and I felt, for the first time in months, like I could breathe. Dominic pulled me close, and I rested my head on his shoulder. No regrets? He asked quietly. Not one. Liar. But he smiled. You'll regret it sometimes. Miss your old life. Wonder what might have been. Maybe. But I'll never regret you. Even when I drive you crazy? Especially then. He laughed, the sound free and genuine. And as we flew toward a new beginning, I realized something. I'd spent my whole life playing it safe, choosing security over risk. But the scariest choice I'd ever made, loving this dangerous, complicated, beautiful man, had given me the only thing I'd never found in my safe life. Freedom. The island was paradise. White stone villa perched on cliffs overlooking impossible blue water. Olive groves and wild herbs and silence so complete it felt sacred. The first week, we did nothing but exist. We slept late, made love in afternoon light, cooked simple meals and ate them on the terrace. Dominic taught me to swim in the cove below the house. I taught him to braid my hair, laughing as he fumbled with the strands. No guards, no danger, just us. I forget what this feels like, Dominic said one evening. We sat on the beach, watching sunset paint everything gold. Peace, quiet, happiness without waiting for the other shoe to drop. Do you miss it? I asked. Your old life, the power. No, I miss. He paused. I miss the purpose. Knowing my role, what I was supposed to do. This feels like vacation. Beautiful, but temporary. It doesn't have to be, doesn't it? Eventually money runs out. Eventually someone finds us. Eventually we have to decide what comes next. What do you want to come next? He looked at me. Honestly, I want this. Want to wake up next to you every morning without checking for threats. Want to be boring. Want normal. You'd be terrible at boring. He laughed. Probably, but I'd like to try. We got married on the beach at sunset, 6 weeks after arriving. No guests, no ceremony, just us and a local official who spoke broken English and didn't ask questions about the wealthy American and his young bride. I wore a simple white dress bought from a shop in the village. Dominic wore linen, his feet bare in the sand. We spoke vows we'd written ourselves. I promise to love you in darkness and light, I said. To stand beside you when the world comes calling. To choose you, every day, no matter what. I promise to protect you, he said. To put you first in all things. To build a life with you that's worth the price we've both paid. To love you until my last breath and beyond. We kissed as the sun sank into the sea, and I felt complete in a way I never had before. That night, we made love in our bed, our home, and I felt the weight of everything we'd survived, everything we'd sacrificed, transform into something beautiful. I love you, he whispered against my skin. I love you too, my husband. My wife, he smiled. I'll never get tired of saying that. 3 months in, reality started creeping back. First, a phone call. Carlo, voice urgent. Sir, we have a situation. Dominic's expression shifted immediately. What kind? The FBI raided 3 of our businesses. They're freezing assets, making arrests. Martinez is pushing hard. What about the transfer accounts? Safe. They haven't found those. But some of the men are asking questions. Wondering if you're coming back. Dominic glanced at me. Tell them I'm handling it remotely. Business continues as normal. For how long? As long as it takes. He hung up. But the peace of the morning had fractured. You need to go back, I said quietly. No. Dominic. I said no. I left that life. I'm not going back. But your people need you. And if the FBI is really pushing, they'll manage. Or they won't. Either way, I'm not leaving you. But the calls kept coming. More raids, more pressure, more questions. And I watched him get more restless, more tense. Watched him check his phone constantly, pace the terrace, lose sleep. After 2 weeks, I couldn't take it anymore. Go back, I said. Lily, I mean it. Go back, handle this, protect your people, then come back to me. I'm not leaving you here alone. I won't be alone. Carlo can stay, and I'll be fine for a few weeks. Weeks? However long it takes to clean this up, to make sure your organization doesn't collapse. Then we can figure out what comes next. Together. He looked torn. I don't wanna... I know. But Dominic, you're miserable. I watch you pretend to be happy here while your world falls apart. That's not sustainable. I chose this. Chose you over that life. And I love you for it. But I don't want you to resent me. Don't want you to look back and wonder what might have happened if you'd stayed to fight. He pulled me against him. I could never resent you, but you could resent the choice. Eventually, I looked up at him. Go. Fight your war. Protect what's yours. Then come home to me. I'll be here. You're sure? I'm sure. He left a week later, kissed me goodbye at dawn, made me promise to call every day, left Carlo and 2 other guards I didn't recognize. And then I was alone. The villa felt empty without him. Too quiet, too still. I tried to keep busy reading, swimming, exploring the island, but everything felt muted. We talked every night. He told me about meetings, legal maneuvers, damage control. I told him about my days, the sunset I'd watched alone, how much I missed him. I'll be back soon, he promised. 3 weeks, maybe 4. Then we'll figure out next steps. What kind of next steps? Maybe somewhere new. Europe, but a city. Somewhere you can work if you want. Somewhere we can build an actual life. That sounds perfect. It does, doesn't it? His voice softened. I love you, Lily. I love you too. Come home soon. I will, I promise. But promises don't always hold. On day 18, the call came from Carlo. Mrs. Lavelle? His voice was wrong. Tight. Controlled. I need you to stay calm. My blood turned to ice. What happened? There was an incident. A confrontation with FBI agents during a raid. Mr. Lavelle was injured. The world tilted. How badly? He's in surgery. It's serious, but he's alive. He's fighting. I'm coming back. Ma'am, he made me promise to keep you there. Said you're safe on the island, that he doesn't want you anywhere near. I don't care what he wants. He's my husband. I'm coming back. I hung up. Started throwing things in a bag with shaking hands. One of the guards, Marcus, a quiet man who barely spoke, appeared in the doorway. Mrs. Lavelle, we have orders. To keep me safe, I know. But the only way to do that right now is to get me to him. Can you do that, or do I need to charter a boat myself? He hesitated, then nodded. I'll make arrangements. The flight back felt endless. I kept calling the hospital, but they wouldn't tell me anything. Kept calling Carlo, but he was in with Dominic. Kept imagining worst-case scenarios until I thought I'd break. Finally, 18 hours after that first call, I walked into a private hospital room in New York. Dominic lay in the bed, pale and still, connected to machines that beeped steadily. His shoulder was bandaged, an IV in his arm, but his eyes were open. Lily? His voice was rough, weak. You weren't supposed to... Shut up. I crossed to him, took his hand carefully. You got shot and thought I'd just stay on an island? You don't know me at all. A faint smile. I know you're stubborn. I learned from the best. I brushed hair from his forehead. What happened? Raid went bad. Agent got trigger happy. Carlo says I'm lucky it hit shoulder and not anything vital. You could have died. But I didn't. You could have. Tears spilled over. You promised you'd come back to me. I will. Just need a few days to heal first. I pressed my forehead to his hand, shaking with relief and fear and anger. I was so scared, I whispered. So scared I'd lost you. Not possible. I'm too stubborn to die. His thumb brushed my knuckles, and I have too much to live for. He recovered slowly. 2 weeks in the hospital, then another month of physical therapy. The FBI investigation stalled when it became clear the shooting was questionable. Eventually, they backed off. His organization stabilized. New leadership structures formed. Legitimate businesses took priority. And slowly, carefully, we started building something new. Not Greece too isolated. Not New York too dangerous. We settled in Barcelona. Bought an apartment overlooking the sea. He consulted for security firms. I got work at a private library. We were careful, quiet, private, but we were together. And on nights when old nightmares came, when he woke gasping, or I jumped at loud noises, we held each other and remembered we'd survived. Both of us. Together. 6 months after the shooting, we sat on our balcony watching Barcelona's lights twinkle to life. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. "Everything you gave up?" "Every day," he said honestly, then smiled. For about 5 seconds. Then I look at you and remember why I did it. We could still go back. If you wanted, I don't. That life, it was necessary once. Important. But this? He gestured between us. This is what I was fighting for all along. I just didn't know it yet. Even with the complications, the danger, especially because of them, they proved what we are. And what's that? Real. Worth fighting for. Unbreakable. He pulled me close, and I rested my head on his shoulder. The city hummed below us. Somewhere, threats still existed. The FBI might still be watching. His old enemies might still want revenge. But we had each other, had fought through darkness to find light, had chosen love over safety, truth over ease. And as the first stars appeared in the Barcelona sky, I realized something. This wasn't a fairy tale ending. It was complicated, uncertain, shadowed by the past we'd never fully escape. But it was ours, and that made it perfect.